It's 3:02 p.m. under a blazing Caribbean sun, and the sea looks like a sheet of blue glass. Perfect, peaceful, almost inviting. A single U.S. Navy warship glides forward on routine patrol through international waters, its wake the only ripple in sight. No clouds threaten, no fishing boats crowd the horizon, just open ocean. But deep inside that steel hull, hearts are already pounding harder. Radar screens in the dimly lit Combat Information Center suddenly light up with 5 sharp synchronized contacts. Not random stragglers, not civilian traffic. 5 Venezuelan warships emerging together, moving together, closing together. Why 5 at once? Why no transponders? And why are they steering straight for the American ship like they own the water? The tension snaps into focus in seconds. Officers crowd the displays, profiles match, frigates, corvettes, gun mounts clearly visible, no AIS signals broadcasting, no polite radio chatter, just silent, deliberate advance. The captain is summoned to the bridge. Every keystroke, every whispered order is logged with military precision. The US ship holds course and speed rock steady. No panic, no sudden turns, just calm professionalism. At 3:06 p.m., the Venezuelan formation makes its first subtle course correction, barely noticeable to an untrained eye. But to these sailors, it's a neon sign. They're converging, binoculars lift, high-powered cameras zoom. Gray hulls sharpen into view. Crews on deck, helmets glinting, weapons unmanned but ready. 1 American ship, 5 opponents, no words exchanged. Yet, what would you do if 5 warships suddenly decided your patch of ocean belonged to them? The bridge team doesn't flinch. They hail on open channels. Unidentified Venezuelan naval units. This is United States Navy warship in international waters. State your intentions. Silence, they repeat in Spanish. Still nothing. At 3:10 p.m., the lead Venezuelan ship surges forward. Engines roar louder. Then another joins. Their neat line bends into an arrowhead pointed directly at the American vessel. This isn't casual sailing anymore. This is calculated pressure, pushing boundaries without crossing into open fire. Inside the CIC, electronic warfare suites hum to life, passively collecting every radar sweep, every radio emission. The Americans aren't escalating, they're documenting. Every second builds the case. By 3:14 p.m., the range rings on the plot are shrinking fast, under 3 miles now, and falling. The Venezuelan ships accelerate again, wakes boiling white behind them. Coordinated. Intentional. The kind of maneuver that screams back down or else. But the US captain knows the playbook cold. Never give them the reaction they're fishing for. Stay predictable. Stay professional. Let them expose themselves. Another hail goes out, firmer this time. Venezuelan vessels, you are closing at high speed in international waters. Alter course immediately. No reply. Instead, one of their radars shifts mode's narrow beam, locking on. They're painting the ship, not firing, but tracking, hard. The mood on the bridge thickens, voices drop. Orders crisp and quiet. Crews move with practiced calm, but everyone feels the invisible weight pressing in. Picture standing on that bridge, binoculars glued to 5 gray predators slicing closer, no one answering your calls. The closest point of approach ticks down, 2 miles, 1.5. How close is too close before someone miscalculates? At 3:22 p.m., the formation compresses further, 2 ships fan slightly outward like wings, the center pair driving hard, the 5th trailing offset like a coiled reserve. Deck crews visible now through magnification. Helmets on, postures tense, hands near mounts. No guns elevated, yet the U.S. Skipper gives a low order. Prepare non-lethal options. Floodlights ready, LR-80 prepped, but most important, cameras rolling from every angle. Because in 2020 seconds, naval chest footage is firepower. At 3:25 p.m., the range dips below 1.5 miles. Faces on the Venezuelan decks are almost readable. The sea feels smaller, squeezed. Still, the American ship refuses to turn tail. Why? Because turning now would signal weakness, and weakness invites more aggression tomorrow. Another test comes. 1 Venezuelan ship briefly surges, then holds like a boxer fainting to see if you'll swing. No swing comes. Instead, at 3:27 p.m., the balance tips upward literally. Launch the helo. From the flight deck, a sleek MH-60 Seahawk lifts smoothly, rotors thumping the humid air. No dramatic flair, just calm, deliberate ascent. It banks low, skimming just above the wave tops, heading straight toward the Venezuelan formation. This changes everything. The chopper isn't armed for war. It's armed with lenses, infrared, laser rangefinders, and an unshakable message. We see everything. As it settles into a wide, steady orbit just outside their perimeter, cameras zoom on bridges, on faces, on every subtle shift. Heat signatures bloom through windows, every frame geotagged, time-stamped, encrypted. Then, the green laser, non-lethal but unmistakable, paints the lead ship's superstructure, tracing deliberately toward the bridge. Universal Navy language. We have you marked. We are recording. Choose wisely. The radio crackles. Venezuelan naval units. This is U.S. Navy aircraft. You are conducting unsafe operations in international waters. Alter course immediately. Repeated in Spanish. Still silence, but body language shifts. Heads tilt skyward. Binoculars rise. One Venezuelan radar spikes power, sweeping the helo. Logged instantly. At 3:34 p.m., the nearest ship hits under 1 mile the razor's edge, where a single wave or misjudged helm could spark steel on steel. The Seahawk never wavers, holding position like an unbending sentinel. Below, cracks appear in the Venezuelan resolve. One wake shortens, speed bleeds off a knot, then two. The perfect formation warps. Small course corrections ripple outward. They're recalculating. MC4, what happens when pressure meets unbreakable calm? At 3:37 p.m., the tipping point arrives. For nearly 40 minutes, the US side has done one thing flawlessly. Nothing rash. The helicopter circles steadily overhead, evidence piles higher by the second. Then the first Venezuelan ship blinks, its wake shrinks visibly, speed drops. Seconds later, the second follows suit, easing off the intercept line. Symmetry fractures. The tight fist of 5 opens into hesitant fingers. No dramatic turn away, no flags dipped. Just quiet, reluctant separation. By 3:41 p.m., a third slows. Deck crews step back from stations. Tension bleeds out of postures. The formation stretches, gaps widening. At 3:44 p.m., the Seahawk completes its final pass, capturing every detail of the retreat, then banks gracefully home. The US warship never deviated 1 degree. It never raised a weapon, it simply refused to blink first. By 3:46 p.m., the Venezuelan ships are no longer on collision course. Headings diverge, distance grows mile by mile, minute by minute. The Caribbean exhales, no shots fired, no collision, just a masterclass in restraint. In the deadliest game of chicken at sea, the winner is often the one who never touches the wheel. Back in the CIC, the real work begins. Archiving radar tracks, sensor logs, emissions data, helicopter footage. Every second of silence from the Venezuelans, every aggressive mile closed, every meter they backed off preserved forever. Because modern gray zone confrontations aren't won with missiles. They're won with evidence. The record shows aggressive approach, no communication, unsafe maneuvering, all captured without escalation. The US response, textbook discipline. No provocation, no overreaction. Just irrefutable proof that international law still matters. True command isn't loud. It's the quiet strength that makes the other side choose to leave. The warship steams on, wakes straight as an arrow, mission unchanged. The 5 shadows fade astern until they're just specks on the horizon. To a casual observer, nothing dramatic happened. But to anyone who understands sea power, this was a crystal clear victory of professionalism over posturing. In contested waters, control of the narrative and the escalation decides everything. And today, discipline wrote the ending. If this story of cool heads prevailing at sea gripped you, smash that like button right now. It really helps the channel, and subscribe to for more edge of your seat tales from the world's oceans. Drop in the comments, what would you have done in that captain's chair?